Hi, I'm Amy Satori, a twin flame and intuitive spiritual counselor assisting in raising the vibration of our planet. I am able to scan your energy field for emotional blockages and talk to your organs using Qigong energy healing. I can also help you make decisions, talk to your pets, guides, deceased loved ones, and your family or friends' higher selves. I can help you navigate your relationships and answer pressing questions in your life by talking with the unseen world. I am not a doctor, psychologist, or fortune teller. This is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken seriously whatsoever. Having also been enlightened for 6 months years ago, I have a feel for oneness with God and use these skills I've developed to translate the images, feelings, impressions, and messages I'm given while tuning into you and your situation. You can ask me anything by calling 256-291-1191 any Sunday starting at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Follow me at thesatorishow.podbean.com, find me on Instagram, or order a reading at amysatori.com today. So sit back and enjoy this episode of The Satori Show. And thank you for listening to The Satori Show. This is Amy Satori. I have all kinds of fun little things to share with you today. And we'll see if anybody calls in. Otherwise, I've got, lots to share with you guys. So somebody came in and said, you're developing quite a reputation around here. It's all my friends are saying it's like impossible to get in with you at the Lighthouse. So I've got something to say about that. Okay, so yes, I do get filled up fast sometimes. I'm at the Lighthouse Bookstore on the corner of Pearl and Broadway, Thursday through Saturdays from 11:30 to 8. About 8 is the last time that I can book an appointment because I need to be out of there by 8:30 so the person can close the store. But so yeah, if you want to make sure that you get an appointment ahead of time, it would be great to actually call my cell phone or text my cell phone. Don't call me. Text me because I probably won't pick up your call. But if you text me and let me know your name and when you would like to come in, I typically see people every 30 minutes or so. So on the 30-minute mark, just let me know what time you'd like to come, or I don't have my schedule arranged when I'm not there. So the morning that I come in, before I get here at 11:30, I check my schedule for the day and see if anybody's already scheduled. But that's when it tends to get filled up pretty quick after that. So try to text me the morning of, or I guess you could do it prior because I could call the people at the Lighthouse, or you could call the Lighthouse directly to make the appointment. That would probably be best. But if you want to call me and send a text message, I got to think this through, right? 817-219-8831 is my number, and just let me know you'd like to make an appointment. But you guys, you don't have to just come to the Lighthouse. I can come to your home, or we can meet in a cafe and do a personal one-on-one session. If you just go to amysatori.com and order a personal, like in-person reading, I think it's called, then you can do that. And so don't worry about that, because I don't just do readings Thursday through Saturday. I do readings just about every day. So you can talk to me anytime, and if you need to, you can do a remote reading as well. You don't have to be here in person with me, and I'm just as good over the phone as I am in person, so don't worry about that. So that problem addressed. Okay, let's see here. I'll share some synchronicities with you, as always. We are here to inspire one another and share in each other's journeys. On my Twin Flame Forum in Facebook, it's 1111 Twin Flame Forum. If you want to get on there, we're all kind of helping each other and sharing in each other's journeys there. So, but I like to share these incredible things that are happening to me right now and it is for all of us. We are manifesting like crazy right now. So always watch your thoughts. Oh my gosh. I will share an experience about how important that is right now. The energies with the planetary shifts. We have like 5 planets in retrograde, I think, and a full moon, a blood red full moon. And by the way, I went to a very, very haunted house on the full moon without remembering that it was the full moon. It was a really crazy experience. But anyway, So make sure that you keep your vibrations high, use affirmations or do whatever you can to adjust right now because you're going to be very, very tired. Definitely honor your body and sleep if you need to. But I'll give you an example of kind of how to shift out of that. I live in a basement and it's freezing cold down there. It feels like it's like 10 degrees colder than it is upstairs. So it might be a little bit warm upstairs and somebody puts the AC on and it's like a freezer downstairs and I'm shaking and shivering. I have an electric blanket on and I mean, it's cold. So, I was started to dread going home. I was like, I don't want to go home. It's like walking into a freezer and I can't even be comfortable. And my roommates were hot upstairs, so they were just like, well, we want to be comfortable. So it was kind of a little bit of a problem for a minute. And so what I decided to do is, knowing full well whatever you focus on, you create more of, I shift my thoughts over to thank you so much for the warmth in my life. Thank you for the nice summer sun. Thank you for the heat. Thank you for being nice and warm. Thank you for being that I'm so comfortable in my environment. And I was just putting that vibe out like crazy. And one of my other roommates, the other one that's downstairs and freezes her butt off too, she told me, a miracle happened. You're not going to believe this. And I said, what? She said, the roommate from upstairs that puts up the biggest fuss actually went downstairs and was hanging out with the other roommate while I was house sitting. And she was like, it's freezing down here. How do you guys stand this? And she kind of looked at her like, well, we kind of don't. It's really hard. So she shut off the AC and she was like, oh my God, I had no idea it was so bad down here. And so that was like so awesome. That was God's way of just being like, hey, I got your back. But you got to focus on the positive to make that happen. If I would have kept dwelling on how freezing cold it was, it probably would have become colder in my car, colder at the store, colder like everywhere I go. So I didn't want to manifest that. So focusing on the warmth, focusing on the goodness, on what you want, not what you don't want. Same applies to the twin flame journey, you guys. No complaints. Whatever is going on, just focus on what you love about your life, what's going right in your life, what's even going right with your twin or what's gone right with your twin. Focus on that stuff. Daydream, visualize, imagine everything going awesome and anticipate that and be excited. I had a conversation with somebody earlier about all the synchronicities and whatnot, and he was saying, well, you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment, and he had a belief actually that if you have all these incredible synchronicities and things like that, you'll be let down. And I was like, wow, that's quite a belief. I can't believe that you choose to believe that. That's like unbelievable. So I said, when people ask me, like, what if I get my hopes up? Then I say, get your hopes up, because no matter what, your main focus needs to be happy. So if getting your hopes up makes you happy, get your hopes up. Because if you know how to emotionally support yourself no matter what happens, then you will be fine no matter what happens. There will be no crushing of your dreams. There will be no coming down off of, your bubble will not be popped. If you can get excited about the synchronicities and let them go, and if you can feel special and sweet and have this real awesome connection with God where you feel like you're getting all these little winks and hugs from the universe, then feel those wonderful things. It's just like somebody coming up to you and giving you a kiss or a hug or something sweet, and let it go. And and think, wow, what a great little nudge on my journey. But don't cling to it, and some people are like, oh my gosh, it's just killing me, all these crazy synchronicities. Don't get stressed about it. If you get stressed about it, think about something else. Again, it's like monitoring your thoughts. Don't go down some kind of rabbit hole, and don't let anything pull you down. I don't care if it's positive or negative stuff. Don't let it pull you down. If hoping for something somehow brings your vibration down, then don't hope. Then put your mind on something else that you do feel good about. So it's all about monitoring yourself. And right now, since we're such manifesting machines with all this crazy energy going on, definitely keep your vibrations and your thoughts focused on happy, 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 and get excited about whatever you can, and do, be grateful for everything that you possibly can in your life, and it's going to bring more stuff to be grateful for in your life. So, oh my gosh. I had this crazy thing happen where my masculine was fundraising for something that was close to his heart, and I happened to be on a break, and I had like 5 minutes before I was going to do another reading, and there it just popped up in my face, and I went, oh my gosh, how cool, and I donated, and then I left it alone, and the next day, which would have been last night, I guess, I went out with a friend of mine, and we were talking for hours, and we talk about our twins and things like that, and we get around to me mentioning about that neat little synchronicity that I happened to be online at the same time, and I got that post like right away, and she said, oh, cool. She said, I'll donate to it. And I said, all right. And she said, well, I don't know how to do all that stuff, on Facebook necessarily. She says, maybe you can do it for me. So I get the prompt up to donate and put in a credit card or whatever, because she had a credit card, and I just handed it over to her, and she puts her information in, and we submit it, and then I looked at how much she put, and I was like, wow, that's really generous. He's going to be like, wow, that's so awesome. And she said, well, I just love you guys. I love your story, and I just think that's so incredible. And if I can make his day by doing something like that, then that's awesome. So then I thought, it occurred to me, I was like, wait a minute, your name's not on there. Mine is. Oh, no. Oh, crap. I thought, oh, no. And I looked for any way to like change it or put her name on there or make it private, and there was like no changing it. There was nothing I could do about that. So I just thought that was pretty darn funny, and that you guys might get a laugh out of that. What's done is done, and hope he enjoys that. and what can I say? These things happen. So another thing that happened was last night this really cool song came on, and I just really felt like it resonated. And I thought, holy cow, what are the chances that song would come across, and that I'd even click on it? Because I don't listen to the Beatles or anything like that. And I like the Beatles, they're cool, but I'm not really that big of a Beatle fan. But this song was just so cool, and it was so perfect, and I thought, holy cow, like, wow. And it felt like he was talking to me, or he was singing to me, like his higher self had sent that song, and it was really neat. So that kind of made me feel better after the whole donation thing happened. I was like, how am I going to sleep tonight? And then and then I got that song, and it was so sweet. I was like, that's kind of perfect. So I wake up in the morning, and I had really cool dreams all night, and then I woke up in the morning and got this, I kind of tapped into him and apologized to him, and I talked to his higher self. I'm like, hey, kind of explained the whole situation. And then I went to work, and I was singing that song that had been, now it was like running through my head constantly. So I'm singing that song on my way to work. And kid you not, I look up, and there's his state's license plate, and there's a little bumper sticker next to it, and he says, the bumper sticker said, I'm a music buff. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool, pretty synchronistic. And then I get to the parking garage and go to park, and somebody slams on their brakes, and I had to slam on my brakes, and I look up, and the license plate is 777, which means spiritual connection. So that's kind of how it works. So you guys, most of you that are twin flames know this and know these types of synchronicities, but it's so cool to just share these stories with one another to get that kind of confirmation. I came into work after that, and this poor little kid was moping around, and he said I've had a really terrible day. And I said, well, did you get a rock from our little rock stash? And he showed me, yeah, I got a rock. I said, well, do you have a little thing to put it in, a little baggie? And I showed him all these different little baggies, and he picked one out, and then it kind of brightened his day. And then he sits on the stairs and he shows me this huge bruise. And my coworker was there, and we both looked at it, and we were like, that looks like a heart. And he was like, yeah. And he kind of lights up, and it was so cute because he was like, that bad day was gone. And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's a heart. I have a heart. And then he gets up, and he walks over and stands in front of me, so, like, to really get my attention. And he takes his necklace, and he shows it to me, and he goes, you see this? And I said, yeah. And then he goes over and he grabs a necklace from nearby and comes over with the necklace, and he says, it's kind of like this, huh? And he had grabbed a cross with Jesus on it. And he puts it next to the necklace that he was wearing, and the necklace he was wearing kind of looked like a T. And I look up at the coworker that had just been there a minute ago. He'd left. He came back, and he looked over his shoulder, and he goes, you know what that is, Amy? And I said, what? He says, that's Thor. That's Thor's symbol. And I said, really? How interesting is that? The kid thought that his Thor necklace reminded him of Jesus on the cross. And I was like, okay, there's some more synchronicity, of course. And then he explained to me, he says, there's a big uproar right now in the news because something having to do with the hammer thing that Thor has in his hand. He apparently that's the symbol of what was on the necklace. I didn't pay much attention. So what was really crazy too was, you guys just aren't going to believe this. I had a reading the day before, and somebody's dog was trying to get my attention, and I said, do you have a dog? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, what's your dog's name? And I'll tap in and see what your dog has to say. He wants to get my attention. And the person said my divine masculine's name. What's the name of his dog? Her dog. And I said, yeah, of course. So, and by the way, I think the city not where he was born, but a city near where he was born, came up 10 times that day. But anyway, so this dog that I ended up talking to ended up really helping throughout the consultation and was offering all kinds of input and stuff. And one of the things that the dog did that I didn't make the correlation at the time was he held this big hammer. And I described it as being like one of those meat crusher thingies. Tenderizer. A meat tenderizer. I was like, it's a big giant meat tenderizer, and he's holding it in his hand like a warrior, and he's, telling you to be strong. And the strength card, by the way, has been coming up like crazy for the masculines lately in the collective readings. So making this whole correlation, I was like, I just cannot even believe how all this came about. So pretty crazy stuff. Also, I am going to Switzerland and talking about things manifesting really quickly right now. For a while, I've been wanting to enhance my healing abilities. They say I'll eventually be somebody who will place their hand on someone's head and completely heal them. And I believe it because I can already do a lot. But I know that, I've always looked up to the psychic surgeons over in the Philippines, and they're just, amazing. And I've always wanted to go, well, most of the footage is from the 70s, but I've always been like fascinated with, how they do their surgeries and whatnot. So I've always wanted to take a trip to the Philippines to go get a healing from one of these psychic surgeons and see what it's like and see if I can pick their brain and whatnot. So one of my clients recently said, I think we should go on a trip together. And I said, yeah, well, that would be really awesome. Where would you want to go? And we talked about all these different places and whatnot. And then, and I had totally forgotten about wanting to go to the Philippines. And then I said, well, I don't know how much something like that would cost. So we'd have to see when it comes closer to time, if I can do that. And she just said, I'll pay. And she said, I'd be happy to pay. And we'll go together. And I said, yeah, that's like that. Wow, that's awesome. And she said, pick anywhere in the world. I don't care where it is. We're going in August. And I said, wow, okay. And so she said, just give it some thought and we'll figure out, all the logistics later. A couple of days went by and I went, oh my gosh, this is an answer to my prayers. And I started to do some research on how to find those psychic surgeons and whatnot. And I did find there are a couple. There's Nanog, and there is Esther, which is another synchronicity, by the way. Esther, there was an Esther that showed up in one of my council meetings a while ago. If you guys remember that. A lot of this stuff I'm referring to, you guys aren't going to understand unless you listen to the last episode, but I'm assuming you listened to the last episode to see how profound all this is. So then I do some more research, and I'm led to a video of a woman who had the same thought as I did. I'm going to go to the Philippines and find the most incredible healers and go, investigate all this. She did that. So I watched an 1.5-hour documentary on her discoveries, and actually what she discovered was that she felt that the best healer in the world was a man in Switzerland. And I'm not going to tell you his name until later, but I started to contact the guy. And he actually, let's see, where's his website? His specialty is spinal surgery, psychic spinal surgery. Isn't that amazing? So he's like a psychic chiropractor. I mean, he can get in there and fix anything. He talks on his website about all these different things that he's been able to do. But, I said, do you think I could take care of some of these things that I've got going on and stuff remotely, or do you think that I need to come out there to Switzerland? And he said, well, I can definitely go deeper in Switzerland. And something about the way he said it, I was like, okay, this is it. And and I got confirmation on that as well from my guides. So I'm off to Switzerland. Never been there. Heard it's really beautiful this time of year. Get to go for free. It's going to be incredible. I asked him if he'd spend some time with me and not just do the treatment, but actually talk to me and maybe teach me and mentor me for a few days. And he's going to do it. So I'm so excited. All right. So on to what? Let's see here. We don't have any callers yet. Okay. So twin flame updates this week. That feminine I told you about last week, who is relocating, said she wants to just completely cut her twin off. It just hurts too much. She doesn't know if he's taking action or what he's done and hasn't heard from him, and she's just kind of tired of it, and she doesn't want to have to make a choice between the two. And so she's like, I just want to, just completely cut him out. And I said, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't close the door completely on that. And she said she felt it was an insult to her soulmate if she didn't. And I said I would normally totally agree in most cases, in other words, karmics and such. But I think I'd have to tell anyone else that he's my twin flame, which sort of makes him indispensable. So I'd never X him out of my life. And she said, well, that's admirable. And I said, healthy boundaries are mandatory, but trying to cut your twin out of your life is just not possible nor necessary. If you're upset with your twin, you've got work to do around that. So that's more my point. If what they're doing is upsetting you, it just means that you're not taking personal responsibility for yourself. They need to be able to do whatever they want, and they need to show up whenever they want, and they need to share their heart when they want, if they want. They do have free will, and so do we. And yeah, it could be really tough making a decision like that. It can be hard, but don't run away from it. Just stay in the moment and take it step by step, and don't be so dramatic. I mean, we're so used to game playing. We're just like, if he doesn't this, then I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And you guys don't need to be that way. Just accept where he's at and just be cool, because I've been getting all kinds of signs. I mean, tons of signs about the twins coming together. I've been seeing bats a lot, and I don't remember what the other animal is, but the bat and this other animal meant the same thing when I looked them up. That basically there are, and especially with the eclipse energy right now, there are huge endings and beginnings happening, and they're creating beginnings for these unions to come together. And I get 8 of Wands on that all the time. So, don't give up when you're just about across the finish line. And the finish line may not look like you think either. It may not be you guys step right into a relationship or there's some major proposal or something like that. I mean, be realistic. It's a lot of these offers that are coming through, and a lot of these unions that are happening step by step, little baby steps. It might be a like on Instagram, or it might be a comment on Facebook, or it could be something really little, or a text. But at least you guys are getting back in the flow, and you're starting to get that reciprocating energy going. That's what's needed, and that's what you build on, and that's what you build trust on, and that's how you get the rapport going. So don't be so hard on him, and just be patient. This is a really good practice in being patient. And let's see here. Talk about the energy shifts. We've already done that. Oh, okay. So the theme for the readings, for the most part, I've been trying to pay attention to the themes so that I can share them with you guys, is, past lives. This week has been past lives. It was like one person after another, everything related to some kind of a past life. And there was this really cool reading where this gal came and sat down, and the minute she sat down, I looked at her and I said, "Wow, I see water all around you. Dark, murky water, like you can't see through it." And she went, "Whoa, that's amazing, because I've been having all these nightmares." And she said, I feel like I'm getting sucked down into deep waters. And I said, sucked down into deep waters. And I said, I think this is a past life that we're dealing with. So I tuned into it, and it felt like, or she said it kind of had the feel of a moat. So I had that clue to go by, and I tuned into the moat situation, and I said, okay, so there'd be a castle. Let me feel into the castle. And then I saw her as a man in a prior life climbing up a castle, the side of a castle, trying to get to a girl at the top, and he was dressed as a knight. And so it kind of reminds you of a fairy tale or something. So he's climbing up there, but all of a sudden, and I almost wanted to laugh because I was watching it like live, and he slips and falls, and he lands right next to the water. And all of a sudden I went, whoa, and a crocodile came out of the water, grabbed his foot, and dragged him down into the water. And I could actually feel the crocodile twisting me around and muscling me around in the water. Because when I tap into the past life, I can feel everything that's going on. It was awful. I mean, but you know what? The thing that stood out to me most is I felt really, really stupid. I felt so stupid. I was so close. And I even told her, I said, you had a great plan. That was really smart. It was like you put this big board over the narrowest part of the moat. And you were almost there. You were about to get her. You were about to get across the water. But so I thought that was just so interesting. And I said, what would that, we explored, what would that have created now? What would that have caused now in terms of love? And it's like you always almost get there, and then something happens, something goes wrong. You may have been really hard on yourself and called yourself, an idiot for slipping in whatever. So then we keep talking, and we're getting into describing her future twin, and I said, oh my gosh, I see him. I think he's a surfer. And we talked about maybe them seeing each other in Southern California. And I said, I just saw him trip over a curb, and I started laughing. I said, it looks like you might be a bit of a klutz, so maybe look for that as you're getting to know the guy. If he's a klutz, then it can be confirmation. And then I went, wait a minute. Since you guys are twins, this makes a lot of sense, because you got to heal that issue with feeling like a klutz when you were hard on yourself, when you slipped, when you were at the castle. And we were both like, oh my gosh. So that was so cool. Another thing that happened with a past life was that one woman came in, and she said she was feeling all this real intense pressure to make a decision, yet she couldn't even figure out what she was even trying to make a decision about. And she was feeling so confused, and she said, I don't understand what's happening to me, but I feel so confused and so pressured, and like I'm being pulled in a million different directions, and I don't know what to do. And I said, I think this is a past life thing. So I felt into it, and I said, actually, I see you like a queen in a castle, and that's another castle, but it's totally different era and everything. Well, kind of, I think. I don't know. I don't do well with that, with history and stuff. But so there was some kind of like a kingdom, and her husband, the king, was away fighting some kind of a war, and the people that were against them were trying to invade the kingdom and were breaking through the gates and flooding into the gates, and nobody was protecting her, and everybody was kind of just fending for themselves, and she was alone. And she had this connection to this woman who was sitting in front of me. The queen was her, but yet a twin at the same time, like not a twin flame, but an actual physical twin from a past life. And it was like her sister and her at the same time or something. And she was actually sending a telepathic message from that time and that era to present time to her sister, begging her to help her make this major decision. It was amazing. She was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Nobody's got my back. I feel like making a major decision for everybody, but everything's in total chaos right now. And I'm wondering whether I should look out for myself or look out for my kingdom. And I said, you know what? Tell her to look out for herself. Because I got an image of her sneaking away into these tunnels. So I told her to tell her sometime in a meditation, tell her to go to the tunnels and go now, like leave right now. Stuff's about to go down. And she totally cried. She felt the moment. She felt the intensity of it. And she felt like her sister or herself pulling on her like that. And I just thought that's so amazing. And twin flames as well as actual twins have such an incredible connection. It's just so beautiful. Let's see. Okay, so another cool thing happened about like learning to trust your intuition. I had a reading where somebody said, you know, I would like for my son to make more money, and he's so experienced in all these great things, and I just don't know what he's going to do next. And I tuned into it, and I saw like the Olympic symbols, and then I saw him like blowing a whistle and carrying like a clipboard. And I said, I know this sounds like really far out there, and it's probably not possible. I don't know your son or what he does. I knew he did something having to do with coaching or something like that already. But I said, do you think your son would be qualified to work for the Olympics? And she said, actually, yeah, definitely. And I said, I think he needs to apply. I think he's going to work for the Olympics. And she looked at me shocked, and I said, what? And she said, and a guru from India, like 15 to 20 years prior, predicted that he would be a coach in the Olympics. I kid you not. So even no matter how weird your intuition seems, go with it, roll with it, and say it, and you'll be so surprised how it ends up being, you know, more spot on than you could have imagined. Okay, so I have a message from Brandy that she sent me on Facebook. She said, I really like your show with just you. Kevin was awesome. However, it seems to really flow nice the way you're doing it now. There's so many helpful tools. It's really amazing, to say the least. I was just thinking about you yesterday. I remember you told me I would be with a guy who likes to bring you lunch. So my twin flame that you said is a twin flame, he brings me lunch all the time now. So she said, I just wonder how you pick up on all that stuff without even knowing the person. So that's just a matter of developing your intuition and trusting it and getting lots of confirmation. And you get more confident as you go. It's just practice, practice, practice. Just like anything else in life. And it's not as hard as you think. Your head and your thinking is always the only obstacle ever. No matter what you're facing, the only thing in your way is your thoughts. Okay, so I wrote a little snippet about, for those in separation, feeling impatient. And I kind of referenced this earlier that this was coming, but your hard work is not going to waste. The physical world is full of illusions. Don't get impatient just jumping to the next thing because you lack patience and trust. Stick with your original intentions and big picture God gave you. Trust your intuition for the answers and withdraw your attention from the confusion all around you. Go within for the answers and see what's consistently been there all along. Don't make your decisions based on the physical realm and illusions all around you. Surprises are on the horizon. Block out anyone else's influence and quit doubting yourself and act when you feel pulled to. Keep your focus on gratitude. What do you do when you get upset? You redirect your focus and know that that there are huge energetic shifts happening. What you believe you will see, not the other way around, so have faith. What exactly are you trying to achieve? You're manifesting machines right now, so use visualization and affirmations. Some of my favorite affirmations are, and these are powerful, so here we go. I am so completely loved and supported in all ways and always. I use that one all the time. Thank you that I won the lottery in every area of my life. Now, the story I shared earlier should be proof and evidence of that affirmation works. Because I won the lottery, I got a free trip to Switzerland with a really good friend, so we're going to have a blast. I'm just the luckiest girl in the world. That's a really cool one. And I am completely healed. That's another really good one if you have any kind of an ailment. So I'm going to scroll back up here and I'm going to go to a couple of questions. Okay, we have Leandra. She said, Amy, I have no idea what just happened in my life. I saw you about 7 weeks ago, and in my reading you had told me that I would find my twin flame in about 2 months. Well, I don't know if I did or not, but I really think I may have found him. It was just a funny story of how we met, and I think it's insane because I've only known him for a week, and it's like our whole lives have mirrored each other, and our humor is the same. The way we were raised with our traditions are the same. His mom is Lakota, and I grew up knowing my Lakota traditions. But I met his mom, and we instantly clicked. She told me, can't you just be my daughter? I just laughed. Her sister and I feel like we've been friends forever, and I've only known all of them for a week and a half. But there's a catch. We have a big age difference, and I don't know what that will mean, but we both see each other as the perfect fit for each other. It's only been a week, and neither of us are getting our hopes up. But I feel like he needs to have those growing experiences, and I don't want to take away from those experiences. I just want to know if this person really is my twin flame. Is this what this feels like? Yes. If not, I will know. I will not know that his family. Let's see. And if not, I will know that his family and him will be here in my life in ways I never knew were possible. Thank you so much, Amy. So I'm going to read into this for you. I get a yes. But again, I always say this, don't trust a psychic to tell you who your twin flame is. That's got to come from your heart. Masculines, I know that that's hard to do. But come from your heart, not your logic. Hang on. Synchronicities are key. I believe in finding the right person, even if it leads you. I have been tricked before, and I've known other people who've been tricked before you have a carrot dangling in front of you. It's like the universe is kind of looks like they're leading you to somebody, and then they make an about face and give you somebody else. That is likely. That's why you have to keep your mind open. However, pay attention to the synchronicities all along the way, because they are bringing you along your path. They are guiding you to where you're going to eventually be. That will create your highest happiness if you stay in a high vibrational state. The key is to stay present in the moment and allow that to unfold naturally. And the more you are in connection with God's source energy, the more you are present in the moment, the higher your vibration, the happier you are, the more likely you are going to create for yourself the very, very best result in the end. So just focus on that. So let me feel more into this. I'm seeing like Six of Cups energy. So Six of Cups is all about a nostalgic connection and very much implies that there could be a past life. It's like you guys feel like children together and you can play and have that sweet connection. This is exactly how twin flames begin. So you should probably listen to some of my other twin flame talks that talk about the whole separation process and that you'll be rejected at some point. Because if you're not prepared for that, it's pretty painful. So I do have a lot of talks about twin flames. If you go over to the right, there's a little search bar. You can put in twin flames, or you can hit the category area and click on about twin flames and look up some of my older talks that are all about twin flames. And it doesn't have all this talking about all these other things, other subjects. It's just like purely talks on twin flames. Let me see what else I can get for you here. He's giddy. It's so sweet. I just love how you guys feel. Just trust that. Let life unfold. It definitely feels like a twin flame connection to me. And it feels like you guys are very complementary to each other. I think you're going to find a lot more signs and synchronicities as you get to know each other. But again, it's like once you guys actually come into a full relationship, a lot of times those synchronicities stop. But you will see like the cool things like, birthdays and things like that. Oh, I almost forgot to address the age difference thing. That is actually very common for twin flames. There's always some kind of major difference. It could be religion, it could be race, it could be, whatever it is. It could be you guys are on different continents. So there's always something you got to overcome. So a lot of times these twin flames do have huge age differences. I mean, it could be a few years or it could be massive. I mean, I think the biggest age difference I've heard of might have been like 30 years. So, and as creepy as that sounds, it actually sounded like a really, really sweet story. So, yeah. All right. So I just want to, before I move on, I just want to see if there's any other tidbits they could give us about you and your twin. Popcorn. Something about popcorn. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Report back to me when something happens with the popcorn. There was a time when somebody was trying to get with her twin, and I told her, I said, your twin loves the smell of popcorn. He'll gravitate toward popcorn, whatever's going on. It's like he'll stop everything and go towards the popcorn. And so she tried it. She went to work and she popped some popcorn, and here he came running. And they bonded over it, and they had this incredible talk. So it was so perfect. Maybe it'll be something like that for you. But I'm definitely getting popcorn. Oh, and I just saw a cat. I think the cats represent psychic work or energy work a lot of times. I'm getting a yes on that. So maybe you need to get some energy work done. I think that'd be a good idea. And being that I mentioned the past life thing, you might actually want to get a past life reading done or meditate on it yourself on, kind of like I did, just feel into the situation if you're really intuitive, which it feels like you are pretty intuitive. So just sit and meditate on how you knew this guy before, what happened between you guys before. It might explain a lot of things that will be happening in your relationship that you can then be prepared for. Past lives can be very beneficial that way. They don't have to be. You don't have to go back through past life stuff, but it can definitely really help shed some insights on things. Okay, Michael. Michael says, I am a fire snake Aries, and she is a metal goat Libra. I don't have any clue what any of that means, but I know there's a lot of like Chinese astrology, Chinese zodiac stuff, and there's Mayan calendar things and all that. So I'm sure it doesn't really matter that I know. I have given into the divine and know she is my twin flame. I am currently watching her through the same thing go through the same thing I went through about 2 months ago. How does this end? How long before we are together as a couple? Let me know whatever energies come your way. Thanks in advance. Okay, so it kind of sounds like Michael could be the feminine, even though he's male. We know that sex doesn't matter. It's one is the chaser and one is the runner. Typically, they refer to the masculine as the runner initially, and the feminine is the chaser. And that's just through the separation period. So the way this journey kind of goes is they have a meet cute, and it's a pretty cute little meet cute. Playful, cute, innocent, sweet, really great connection. then the masculine kind of freaks out, even though he's the one that causes the whole thing in the first place. Usually he's the catalyst, so he flirts, he does something that makes her go, what? What did you just say? And then he takes off because he freaks out and he's thinking, I don't want to get burned again. I don't want to have this go down in a bad way. I don't think this is going to work out. So I'm out of here. And then he goes through a dark night of the soul and all kinds of things when he goes through his separation. And all the time the feminine's like texting him, calling him, trying to see, like, figure out what the heck just happened. And he ignores her or just gives her very little for a certain time period. It could be, weeks, it could be months, it could be years. I know twins that have gone through the separation period for 30 years. But don't worry, not everybody goes through that. It's all depending on your level of maturity and how much you can take personal responsibility and just divine timing. So anyway, knowing that process, being that you've said that you feel like you just went through what she's going through a couple months ago might mean that you're the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is a little bit ahead of the divine masculine in terms of spiritual development, even emotional development initially. By the time they come into union, a lot of times the divine masculine really shocks the feminine, because not only does he catch up, he's like on fire right with her, and they're just this incredible team. So don't worry about her like catching up to you, because she will. But just be patient and leave her tons of space. Just let her go through her process and respect it. Don't be in a hurry, because a lot of this for the feminine, their biggest lesson is learning how to overcome abandonment issues and overcoming fear of rejection. Well, actually, he goes through that too. By the time he comes back around and wants to go into union, he's a little afraid. And the masculine goes through a period of not feeling good enough. So whatever she does, if she starts to act funny, just know that she's probably feeling not good enough. Also, and you want to look out for those signs and synchronicities I just talked about as well, because those will be more of an indicator that she is indeed your twin. And what else can I give you a heads up about? Well, let me just read into your situation. Hang on a minute. All right, I feel like you guys are probably going to come into a better place, a more aligned place in about 3 months. So it's not too far into the future. And the holidays are a magical time, so that's a good time for you guys to come together. What else do you need to know about her? Yeah, I feel like her growth is going to be exponential, and it's going to be pretty rapid. I don't think you're going to have a big separation period. Yay! Yeah, it's a really beautiful connection you guys have. I see you guys holding hands energetically. Oh, there's definitely past lives of like king and queen energy there. So you may want to look into that. She does feel it feels like I kind of see a puzzle in front of her that she's trying to put together. It's like she's pretty puzzled about you guys. And she's trying to figure out, like, how would this come together? Like, how the heck does this happen? She's probably wondering about the age difference thing as well. Yeah. Yeah, so she's just pondering a bunch right now. The puzzle pieces look like they're about a half inch apart. So you've got about a half an inch till the puzzle pieces come together, but she is putting it together. She's figuring it out, trying to see how your guys' lives could come together in a harmonious way. And that's the key. That's the ticket. Communication needs to be in there though too. Eventually, when she's able to talk to you. So yeah, and the age difference thing, it can be a hang up for some people, but yeah. Let's see here. Okay. For some odd reason, this subject has been coming up lately, so I thought that I would address it. There seems to be a thing here in Boulder, and I'm sure it's not the only place that this is happening, but people put out invitations in meetup groups inviting you to come to cuddle parties or touch parties and things like that, when you go to these parties, it's pretty much an orgy. It's called a sex party. Sex parties, man, I've got more respect for my body than to be throwing it around at some kind of party, and you don't know people's energies. You don't know, the people they've been with. Of course, you always have to watch out for STDs. A lot of these people at the parties already have STDs, so they have no problem sharing and swapping. But you guys, like the energies you don't want to do that just because, if you guys might be swingers and things like that, if that's your lifestyle, so be it. I'm sure there are probably twins that do that. Just treat it with respect. Use discernment. Be careful. Maybe choose people who either have the same disease or they're clear or something. But I definitely just felt like I don't even want to tell you guys how conversations I've been having with certain people. But it's icky. It's very icky energy. It's very devil energy. It is not sacred sexuality by my definition. It just seems to be a way that people are feeling better about themselves, but it's an egoic feeling better. It's not a genuine feeling better, if that makes sense. If you want to feel better about yourself, do some things to boost your self-esteem other than going to these sex parties. That's just my take on it. I don't know. I'm pretty protective of my body like that, and I'm pretty protective of my energy. And it would take a lot to convince me to do that. Maybe years ago I would have participated in something like that, but I've just kind of wisened up, and that's totally not my cup of tea now. But, if it's for you, be careful. Be really, really careful and cut cords afterwards. And just, I don't know about that one, you guys. And I don't know why that's been coming up, but since it has, I thought I would mention it. Also, pornography. If you're watching porn, which I used to be addicted to porn for a while. Me and this guy got together one time and we admitted it to each other. So we X'd it out of our lives and we decided we weren't going to do that anymore. And it actually stuck. I haven't been into it since. Not that I wouldn't look at it, but again, it's unhealthy. So I put together a little paragraph on that here. It says, my question to you is, if you watch porn, would be, do you want fake sex or do you want better actual sex? Most people addicted to porn are completely disconnected in real life. And I've seen this so many times. If you quit, you may see a dramatic improvement in your sex life because you're focusing more on reality and forcing yourself to communicate better in order to achieve the same degree of pleasure as you were getting from porn, and then some. Sorry, this is so choppy, because it's not your hand. It's real flesh and intimacy. One tends to make you feel bad about yourself. The other boosts your self-esteem and gives you more confidence because you created that degree of satisfaction with your partner. And you won't have to worry about your partner straying so much if you're providing that level of pleasure for him or her. You value things more when you give them your time and effort. So what are you giving your time and effort to? Change your focus and watch what happens. Watching porn can be escapism. It's fantasy. It's just not real life. So unless you're watching the porn and then doing that with your partner or using it to enhance your sex life, which, can happen. You can make that happen in a healthy way if you guys figure out how to do that. But, it's also kind of that icky energy, and it's so fake. I don't know what to say about that. It's just fake. Okay, so I did have a question from a client that I thought I would talk about and address the separation period again, but from a different angle. She said, I wish things were different for me. I think about this situation 24/7 and feel crazy. So I said, the separation period is very important for growth and development. You can't rush or force the process. You must surrender for the relationship to happen, so focus on having internal peace about all working out. how and when it should, and let go. Trust God or the universe has its hand in it, even if you see no proof or evidence. There's much going on behind the scenes we don't have a clue about and aren't meant to. Those feminines who've pushed those feminines who pushed it Those feminines who've pushed it end up having a difficult or discouraging conversation, much like going after a man when he's in his cave, which will make them lash out at you. So learn to respect his cave now as training for when you're together. You never want to force someone to give to you. If you do feel pulled to share something with him, do by all means, but don't expect a response until he's ready. It'll be worth the wait. Some feminines I know have gotten tired of waiting, which is a symptom. And if you're tired of waiting, don't act from that place, because you'll reach out to him, he won't say anything back, and then you'll be like, what's wrong with him? Now, or what's wrong with me? And you'll get even more discouraged, even more mad, and you want to throw in the towel. So don't even do that to yourself. Just be patient. You got to learn to be patient in life, everybody. In every area of your life. This isn't just with twin flames, just with everything. Just trust. Just trust and let go. Don't expect people to do things to make you happy. I'm seeing so much of this. So let go. Let go, let go, let go. All right, let's see here. So Suzanne wrote to me, and she said, so a little bit of an update. Sean and I have been in contact over the past few days, and we're going to meet today and have a beer and talk. So if it was you that said something about traveling to meet each other this weekend, you were right. I believe it was. I'll let you know what happens. Yay! That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate these reports, you guys. So cool to see what's happening for everyone. You guys might also have noticed that one of the YouTube readers, I think her channel is Be a Good Soul. She came into union with her twin, and they're working that out now. They had a romantic few days together, and now they're trying to figure out how to live closer to each other. So super awesome to hear that, and it's really neat to hear about her journey if you want to listen to her channel. Also, if you want to know about what's happening with the new Earth, I recommend listening to Aluna Ash, because she has some cool updates for some in-depth energy reads regarding the new Earth and shifts taking place. She seems to be getting some clear information that resonates with Celeste. She just conveys it differently, which is why us light workers on the front line are relaying the same messages in so many various ways that appeal to a wide range of listeners and watchers, depending on what appeals to you at any given moment. I'm much more basic, and she's a bit complicated in her information and scientific. But maybe if you listen to both of us, you'll get a lot of really great information there. Okay, so when it comes to making a choice, sometimes it can be very difficult. So I put together a little something that might be able to help you guys make a decision when it comes down to who you really want to be with for the long haul. Okay, so with a karmic, it can be flattering when they want to marry you, and even though there's fighting, there may also be a lot that's great. But try to project yourself into the future 10 years and see how that feels when all the excitement has gone away. Their willingness to see your side is diminished because they're tired of your stuff and already have you and what they wanted from you, and now they're just constantly demanding and disappointed. Kind of sad. Nobody wants to feel that way. So I put together some questions to help you out here, so let me just go through those. Number 1, who could you be your absolute worst with? And they would give you the benefit of the doubt and care more about what you're going through than what you just did or said to them. Number 2, who would be standing by your side no matter what went down, even if it was completely against their beliefs, what their family would accept, or how it could damage their reputation? Number 3, Who do you feel most comfortable in your true self with? Or are you trying to impress them or uphold an image they have of you? Are they trying to make you into someone you're not? Are they willing to, number 4, are they willing to look at themselves and admit their part in things and be proactive to change? Are they like wanting to grow? Do they act kind of like, oh yeah, oh that's so great to realize that about myself. That's awesome. Number 4, are they willing to, okay. Number 5, number 5, who's okay with you not giving them what they want? Do an experiment sometime with whatever you feel they would be trying to get out of you. Number 6, who's trying to give you the strength to let your own light shine truer? Do they support you unbiasedly? Number 7, who encourages you to do what you truly love rather than what's expected? 8, are you constantly having to explain and defend yourself, or do they seem to get you better than anyone? Number 9, who grows, expands, liberates, and inspires you to deeper, more profound truths? Number 10, do you have to go out of your way to appease them? You want someone who will notice the gift you gave wasn't what they wanted, but they get your heart behind it, rather than someone needing constant proof because they don't love themselves. Number 11, if you broke up, would you feel relieved and liberated? Simulate doing this to see. Number 12, are they abusive in any way? If so, they could be a false twin flame, or a karmic for that matter. 13, do you seem to have a telepathic connection? Number 14, are they your soft place to fall? Keep in mind that no matter what, breakups are always good because you'll either go apart and have big realizations that cause you to come together stronger if you get back together, or you'll find someone you're more aligned with due to the growth you experienced while with the one you broke up with. So true. Meeting your partner's kids. So this is another issue. Don't meet someone's kids until you know them well and love them deeply, or you could fall in love with the kids and settle. But never sacrifice your own happiness for someone else, no matter the circumstances. Okay, when they threaten suicide. If you go to break up with someone and they threaten suicide, you must see that this is a manipulative move and confirmation that they're not mature enough to handle a healthy relationship, as they do not take personal responsibility, which is mandatory. You are absolutely not responsible for anyone else's happiness or actions. Get them help and wipe your hands clean doing what's best for you both. Detach from the situation. All right, so I think that's good enough for today. That's been actually quite a bit of information there. But please keep in mind that you can call in any Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can talk to me, you can give me feedback, you can give me an update on your situation, or you can, ask me to do an energy scan on you or anything you'd like. Just call in to 256-291-1191. Put that in your phone, put it in your calendar, whatever you need to do to remind yourself to call in. And I would be happy to talk to you. And have yourselves a beautiful evening, and thank you for listening to the Satori Show.